Well, hello, everyone. It is such a pleasure and a joy to be here with you tonight. I am going to get to the point because we have a lot of content. My name's Yvette and I will be your host and teacher for the day. There is a chat feature. There is also a raise your hand feature where you can actually click a little button and it raises your hand computerized. I will be asking you some questions throughout the workshop. Have a pen and paper ready, but more importantly, have an open heart and an open mind because this information can absolutely change your life. One quick second. Wonderful. I'm just having a little technical difficulty here because my husband is not here. So I am handling all the technology on my own. So 1 second here. I have to share my screen and I'm learning how to do this with so much fun. 1 second. Okay. What happens when you get nervous? I am so sorry, guys. I completely blanked out. I feel so much better. I can see my screen and everything is wonderful. Everything is working out. So thank you for your patience during my little blank moment. Dave was so kind last week. He coached me, trained me. I have a list of like all the steps on how to start the Zoom, how to turn everything. And when I started, I blanked out on where I was and it's all good now. I had a little cave woman moment, which is a perfect introduction to what we are doing today. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Yvette. I have been studying relationships for the past 15 years now, but the last 2 have been highly concentrated. And the topic today is understanding women. It is our 4th webinar. We have done a few others that you can watch online. They are all in our Facebook group that I'll mention later on. And if you're here today, it's because you probably want something more in your relationship. And the topic today is called Concealing and Conserving versus Revealing and Including. All wonderful parts of being a woman and knowing a woman and being with a woman, and for all the women in your life, whether you are a woman and want to understand yourself better, or whether you are in life, partnership, and business with a woman, this webinar can provide the bridge for you to better understand all the different women in your life. And 2.5 years ago, Dave and I, after being married for 16 years, we hit a new interesting phase in our lives. And I wasn't understanding what was going on because Dave was acting different than he had acted all the previous 16 years. And call it whatever you want to call it, that was transformation and change, and I didn't know how to adjust. I thought there's something different. I don't know what's going on. And so we started having a lot of tension. We had built this amazing, incredible business together. We had grown as individuals. But have you ever been in a place where something grew a lot and then there was a part that didn't grow at all? And that happened to us. Our business grew massively. We were very blessed, very successful. And our personal growth was amazing. We grew as human beings. We had stronger mindset, better emotions. But we had failed to grow our marriage. We didn't know. We did a little bit of workshops here and there, but we didn't put into it the energy, the love, the watering. And so we got to a place where there was a lot of tension. We were fighting a lot, and we were at a place where we didn't understand what was going on. We loved each other, but we couldn't stand each other. Have you ever been in a place like that? Raise your hand if you have, by the way, just so I can see you guys. Great. Thank you, Melissa, Suzanne, Adler, Kathy, Courtney, Monique, Isis. Thank you guys for that. I appreciate you participating. And so we were like, what the heck? We are all about, thank you, Shay. We're all about transformation. What's going on in our marriage? And I remember, like it was yesterday, I was in a convertible in Hawaii at a women's retreat. And my friend in the back of the car, I was telling her, God, I don't know what's happening. Dave and I are fighting. We're talking about moving out and giving each other a break. This has never happened before. And she goes, listen, you go home tonight, you pick up the book Queen's Code, you read it in the next 7 days because you still have time to save your marriage. And this woman, her name is Ginger, she's a beautiful sister and friend of mine. She never talks like that. So she kind of scared me and she said, if I would have had that information, things in my life would have turned out a lot different. Go get the book. That night I ordered the book, I had no idea. I read the book and I started finding out about this topic called frog farming. And I didn't realize I had become a professional frog farmer. What is a frog farmer? That is when you find a perfectly great man and you do certain things, you say certain things to the point where you start turning that perfectly great man into a frog. You diminish his ability to produce results. You say certain things. And so the question in the book that was posed was, what if men are just reacting to women? And I thought, the same man that is acting like that with me is behaving differently with his mother, is behaving differently with some of my girlfriends in terms of being more honoring, more respectful. And with me, it was just fights like cat and dogs. And so I realized I had become an amazing frog farmer. And I was doing certain things which the book teaches you what not to do so that instead of being a frog farmer, you can become a king builder. And so by reading the book, I started doing certain things. And within a few days, Dave's like, what's different? He's like, you're kinder, you're more loving. And we started to notice, I gave him the book and he started to read it. And he said, God, this is life-changing, because he started noticing the tension dissipate in our marriage. And he goes, I can't believe one book would have that much of an impact, and there is zero manipulation in this book. It's not like play this game, play hard to get, do this, trickery thing that a lot of self-help books and relationships show. So we knew there was something to it. We decided to dive in. We went to one workshop, another one. He went to one called Understand Women. I went to one Understand Men. And not only did the tension in our marriage dissipate, but a new love started to flourish. And so I owe so much of this little book. And I'm here to share Understand Women today with all of you. So what we're going to learn today is how to get the information you need by understanding the instincts behind what a woman is saying and what a woman is not saying. And we're going to teach you something that is pretty life-changing. At least it's been for us, and the people that we have taught earlier have said the same thing, that us human beings, we have 3 instincts. We're born with 3 instincts. One is to procreate, right? Give birth, multiply. Another one is to protect. So once we give birth, we're going to protect our child, our family, everything we built, right? And then our 3rd instinct is provide. So we give birth and then we protect, and now we want to provide to what we have given birth. And this is basically the cycle of life. And so for today's sake, we're going to talk about the 2nd instinct. The 2nd instinct is the instinct of protecting. That is the warrior instinct in a woman and a man. So even though this class is about understanding women, you also will get the concept on understanding men, because I'm going to talk about the differences and also the similarities about the different perspectives. And so this is not for the topic of providing. This is for the topic of protecting. Okay, so that's what this class is about. And so I'm going to talk today about human animal versus humans in human spirit. Human animal is basically our reactive nature. We are built with this, and when there's when there builds tension, we want to release that tension. And so that is our instincts. That is our survival. If somebody attacks us, our human animal will show up and protect. So there is great parts about our human animal, and there's also some parts about our human animal that are not good because they can be reactive and they can cause chaos in our life. So human animal is our instincts, how we survive. Think back in the caveman and cavewoman days, we had to use our instincts to survive from the big predator that would get us, or like to go out and hunt, right? And so when we are in human animal, the different emotions show up of fear, scarcity, competition. Okay? Now I'm going to talk about human spirit. Human spirit is known as choice. We use our head, our mental power, our personal growth to show up with choice. Okay, so instinct versus choice. And we use human spirit to enhance our life. Have you ever had, sometimes somebody does something to you and you just want to smack them or you want to fight with them? That's human instinct. But then you say, you know what? That is not the best behavior for me. I'm going to pause for a day before I say anything to this person. That's our human spirit. And so our human spirit is our choice and how we enhance life. And the emotions in that realm are effortlessness, happiness, partnership, creativity. Okay, so if that makes sense to you guys, just raise your hand or you can comment yes. Just want to make sure. Thank you, Melissa, Monique, Dawn, Kathy, Suzanne Boyle, Courtney, Shay. Thank you very, very much for participating. Thank you, Bowen and Emily. I appreciate that, guys. And so now we're going to go to the next slide, and we're going to talk about hunting and gathering. Hunting and gathering are two separate operating modes. Okay, and just for the sake of, I want to make sure, can you guys see the slides? If you can see the slides, will you just raise your hand? I'm just doing a little check. Wonderful. Whew. Okay, technology is working effortlessly. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. So we're going to talk about two concepts. This is like two operating systems. This applies to both men and women. For today's sake, we're going to talk about women, but men also listen, because most of you operate in one of these modes most of the time. Okay, and so we're going back, thank you, Jamie. So we're going back to the caveman days. And think about this. When we were back in the caveman days, they were the hunters and they were the gatherers. Okay, they were the hunters and they were the gatherers. And what the hunters did, they had to have laser focus to go and have that track vision to go hunt the deer and bring food back to the tribe. If they didn't have that full focus, the tribe would not eat. Okay, so that's what the hunter did, whether it was a male or a woman. I just recently found out a tribe in Africa where the women are the hunters. But originally, most of the hunters were men. And the women were gatherers. So they were in the tribe. They would stay back. They would go gather the berries. They would go to the river and get the water. They would go to the trees and pick the best fruit. And then they needed to remember with exact detail where the ripe fruit was, where the poisonous berries were, so they can come back in detail and tell the tribe of women where to find everything. So did you guys know that women have 3 times larger the communication center in our brain? So it is no coincidence that we like to talk more. There's a lot more going on in there. And now I'll give you guys another key. Women tend to worry a little bit more than men. Okay, let me tell you why. Our prefrontal cortex is almost 3 times larger than that of a male. So our worry center is almost 3 times larger in our brain. So safety is huge for us, because think about in the back caveman, cavewoman days, the tribe was there. We needed to be aware. Is there a predator coming? While the men are out hunting, how are we going to protect ourselves? So our worry center is 3 times larger. So sometimes Dave's like, babe, why are you worried so much about that? I'm like, my worries are 3 times larger. Now we can't use this as excuses. Now we got to use our human spirit to not have a cave woman attack. But just giving you guys, a lot of times people think men and women are wired exactly the same. Pretty much almost the same, except for some of our sexual organs and so forth, but also our brain wiring is different. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is women operate in 2 different modes. Women operate in hunting mode, and they also operate in gathering mode. Originally, most of the time, women were only in gathering mode and men were only in hunting mode. But through the ages, we have adapted. Women have gone out into the workforce. We have, there's been a huge movement to empower women. And so we have adopted some of the hunting modalities. And so the modality of hunting is this. You're focused on a goal. You try to reduce the distractions. You're going hunt the deer, get the job, achieve the goal. You're just focused on one thing. You get to the point, you talk fast, you're looking down, maybe you're looking at the computer. So that is when a woman is in hunting mode. When a woman is in gathering mode, she's relaxed, she's talking about details, she's looking up, she's talking to you, and then she might get distracted by the little shiny object. She talks in a lot of detail. There's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of openness, there's a lot of caring. There's not one that's better than the other. They're both great. But what's happened, at least in my opinion, is a lot of women have mastered the art of hunting, that they have forgotten to embrace their side of gathering, which is also so healthy. That is where we are relaxed, where we fill our tank. That is where our worry center relaxes. And so a lot of women, you will see them with like heart disease and heart stroke because they operate in hunting mode so much that they don't slow down, and so they stress their body out because women are running at the same pace as men, but men have 10 to 30 times more testosterone than women do. 10 to 30 more times. So if a woman has 100, a man could have 1,000 all the way up to 3,000. So they have a lot more to run. And so that is when a lot of women break down because they don't pause and relax their bodies to be able to breathe, pause, refill their tanks. And so I hope this information is kind of making some shifts in that as women, we could run as hunters as much as we want to, but we've got to pause and refill our tanks or else we're running on empty. And that is when the cave woman attack happens. That's when we just go, Rah! And we just get angry or we snap because we haven't had sleep, because we've been running like crazy. Now I'll tell you guys, for men, most of the time are in hunting mode all the way up to 50 years old. After 50, they find that it's easily switchable to gathering and hunting. And although men after 50 are still very much in hunting mode, a lot of them, but some switch over to gathering mode. And you see this in maybe men that love to tell stories. They like to have more conversation. My friend said her husband just shifted into wanting to cuddle. And this happened after he turned 50. And that's because the testosterone levels drop naturally. And again, there are exceptions to every rule. I've had couples that say, well, I'm the gatherer in the family and I'm the hunter. Whatever mode you're in, it's perfect. There's not one or the other that's better, but what's important is to know how to operate in each mode, and then when somebody's operating in that mode, how to connect with them. Because you can cause a cave woman attack or a caveman attack if you approach somebody that's in hunting mode and you disrupt them, or you come up with a distraction, and you may have a caveman or a cave woman attack if you disrupt somebody that's in hunting mode. So I'm going to share a little bit more about that right now. So we are going to talk about gathering mode now, okay? And gathering mode, we're going to talk about number 1, revealing, and number 2, including. And this is specifically for women as it applies to women, although It would apply to men as well, but for the sake of today's talk, it's going to be about how it applies to women. And so remember, in gathering mode, we're open to options, alternatives, possibilities, and we have an instinct to connect, okay? If we connect, then we will be protected. And this is subconscious what happens. So if you know me, you like me, you will protect me, which will equal to I am safe. And what makes us feel safest in gathering mode, gentlemen, is connection. And I know sometimes when gentlemen are in hunting mode and they don't have the time or the focus, so you got to use your human spirit to pause for a second and give us a little bit of presence. Say, I love you. Send us a text. Make us feel safe. If you do that, we will be like, okay, go work some more. I'm happy, I'm filled. And it's not a time thing. It doesn't require you to spend an hour with us. It requires, though, a full presence, full focus, and being present and honoring us. That is when we are in gathering mode. Okay, so we're going to talk about the revealing instinct in gathering mode. And remember, this is all about safety so that we can be protected. It's about creating a connection so that we can feel safe. And when we are in this gathering mode, a lot of women are compelled to give a lot of information and details. So we give a lot of details about ourselves, our history, our past, our relationships. You know, have you ever met somebody at the airport, ladies, where you start revealing like crazy stuff that you wouldn't reveal to anybody else? And that is because the more points of connection there are, the safer we feel. The safer we feel. And so there is an exception to this. When we are in gathering mode, sometimes we will hesitate and we will also consciously not reveal something that would cause people not to like us or to love us or to accept us. And therefore they wouldn't protect us. So it is very important when we are in this mode, we say enough and we reveal enough, but if it's something that we think that they might not like us, then we basically don't say that to the other person. Okay? And so the awareness is that as a woman, to survive, we need to be perfect, but not too perfect. And this is really, really powerful because we may be ostracized from the tribe if we're too perfect. So women do something where we lower our status sometimes to fit in. And ladies, how many of you have done that? Where somebody has given you a compliment and you diminished yourself? Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Lara, Courtney, Monique. So sometimes we diminish ourselves to lower the status. Well, I don't want to be too smart because I might not be included in the tribe. The other way it goes around as well, where if you're around a lot of smart women or a lot of powerful women, we may raise our status and share certain things about us so that we can also fit in and not be ostracized. So women get very competitive, and sometimes we suffer if we are perceived as too perfect. So we may want to be perceived in a certain way, but we don't want to stick out in a way that would have somebody chop off our heads. So that is one of the reasons why women reveal, but they don't reveal too much. And we reveal to feel safe, because remember, our worry center is 3 times larger than that of a male. So for us, connection equals safety, and for us to connect, we reveal. So sometimes men are like, why would you share something so private about yourself? It is that instinct to reveal so that we can connect, so that we can feel safe. So the most important thing about this webinar is to go, what if that person wasn't crazy? And what if there was a really good reason for that behavior? And I want you guys to start thinking in those terms, like, what if there was a really good reason for that? For men's behavior, for women's behavior. Very, very powerful. So talking about status, like we talked about, we are all comfortable with a certain level of status. And it is a very weird thing, because you would think everybody wants high status, and that is not true. In different communities, we have different levels. And so that's something that somebody might reveal to be humanized, to be accepted, to be liked, and to be perceived in a certain way. So sometimes we will reveal our flaws, we will make excuses for certain things, and we will downplay certain things. We will downplay status in order to fit in. And so one of my examples, I love this, I had a high-profile female business executive in her 50s, and she shared, in business especially, I know there have been times in my life where I downplayed myself, my achievements, when I was with women less accomplished than me, do not seem full of myself or make them feel bad. Now, here's another thing. Women will sometimes reveal as a form of status. They will name drop or place drop. Oh, I've been here, or I've been there, or I'm an MD, or they might drop where they studied, what course, because we do that to create a connection of some sort. That is where there can be a huge conflict between the hunter and the gatherer, because one might want to show higher status to show that they're on the inside, and the other one might show a diminished status to be a part of the tribe. And so you guys can see how when somebody's operating in one mode and the other person is operating in the other mode, it can offer a lot of conflict. So here is another example. I was interviewing a consultant in his 40s, and he said to me, there's this woman at work, and she's constantly revealing other people's private information as a way to get significance and gain status. We call her CNN. Anytime we want to get something out, we tell her because we know that she will share with others. And that is basically what happens a lot. That creates a lot of conflict. That could be seen as gossip, but it could just be somebody trying to raise their status by sharing something like, look at me, I'm so powerful, or look at me, I'm worthy of being kept in this tribe because I got some information. And so being able to understand why people do what they do can create big breakthroughs in people's lives. Sometimes we reveal about two people that we want to connect to be a matchmaker. I was trying to introduce one of my friends and to a young gentleman that I thought they would be a perfect match, and they're both very spiritual, and they're both they love the Alison Armstrong. So I was dropping some things I knew about him to her, and then when I talked to him, I was dropping some things I knew about her to him, because I knew that would create a beautiful connection. So we also drop information like that to help somebody connect with another person. So remember, a woman will also try to create a connection between her and that person, or if she's trying to create a connection between that person and the other person that she's revealing. A woman can also reveal to get ahead of a lynching. So if somebody's in trouble, they might reveal to protect themselves. And I'll give you guys a personal example. There was a woman at my work that had violated some policies and procedures, and human resources was in process of terminating her and letting her go. So instead, the day before she was going to get terminated, she gave her resignation and got ahead of the curve, and she told everybody, yeah, I'm quitting because of this and because of that. But the reality was she was basically getting ousted because of some, behaviors out of integrity. But it's so funny how a woman can reveal, well, I'm leaving, because of this, but yet the whole story behind the story was completely different. Okay, so women will reveal to create connection after somebody has shared Me Too. So for example, think about two girls in the third grade. And the two girls in the third grade, one says, well, I really like this boy. If the other girl doesn't share who she likes, this one's going to be devastated. Like, I just shared a secret and you're not going to tell me? So that is basically the whole revealing to feel safe. It starts when we are very, very young. Okay? And we also reveal to create good feelings. We reveal to be empathetic. So I was at the healing center the other day, and I had a girl that was there getting treatment, and she was just really down on herself because she was feeling a lot of pain and wasn't feeling good. And immediately I started revealing some parts of me when I was feeling really sick. And So immediately I went to connect and I started revealing some personal information so that she wouldn't feel alone. So we also reveal what would have us be accepted by others. And we also reveal to relieve tension. So when there's tension, it can make us nervous. And so we will talk and talk and talk and talk to relieve that tension. We can also reveal because we are proud and we want to brag and we're excited. And this one can cause a lot of problems. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about that in a little while, about revealing out of excitement and having a child be very upset over you revealing something. So now we're going to talk about the second part of being a gatherer, being in gathering mode, and that is the instinct to include somebody. Women that are in gathering mode, how we protect ourselves and our family is by including others, and that's basically how we survive in a group herd. So it's very, very powerful. So think about this. If we go back to the caveman and cavewoman days, we had the hunters and the gatherers, and we survived in a group herd. So if we got kicked out of the tribe and we were alone, that could spell doom for somebody in gathering mode. They can get killed by a predator. And so subconsciously, we are driven to be included in the group. That's why for women, having community is so important. And that's why sometimes when we go out and with the girls and we chat nonstop, we can come home feeling so happy and so fulfilled because we are part of the tribe. And so being included in a group equals safety. And the predator basically sees one big tribe as a big predator, so they won't attack. But one human alone can be in a lot of danger. So as a matter of fact, when I was reading the book, The Female Brain by Luann Brizendine, she's an MD and a neuropsychiatrist on faculty at Harvard, the book says that a baby girl's skills in eye contact and mutual face gazing, so being able to read faces, will increase by over 400% in her first 3 months of life. 400% over boys, because that is directly related to our safety. If we can read faces and be able to tell, we will be safer. If we can build relationships and be part of the community, we will be safe. So even since we're 3 months old, that increases 400% in our first 3 months of life. And a communication center, like I said to you guys, in the brain develops to 3 times the size of a male's communication center, because these brain circuits, they push us to comprehend social approval of others very early. They did a study where girls could completely read the faces and boys were clueless. They were just like hunted, game, go play, go compete. But women can almost read faces way before anybody else, because we are trained to do that since we were 3 months old. 3 months old. And so that is why a little girl is able to emotionally adapt even in diapers. Even in diapers, because our survival depends on it. As a matter of fact, when Dave and I were in a safari in Africa and there were elephants and lions, they were so close to us. And I was like, why are they not attacking? And the guy said, if you were to get out of the car, you would get attacked and killed immediately by the lion. However, they see the one big car with all the people as a giant predator, and they won't come near us. So it's a very, very interesting thing to experience that. And so we include people that we trust and that are on our team. And basically the gatherers, they would be in charge of getting the water from the river, pick the fruit. And so trusting and having a team is very important in this mode. And that's why sometimes women trust and include. And sometimes we say things that sometimes our partners that are hunting, they're like, why would you share something so personal or something that wasn't supposed to be shared? Because we have an instinct to reveal to be kept safe. Okay? And so basically, if I can't go back and get the berries, then I want this person to go get them from me. So I'm going to give them every little detail, the time, the date, the best berries. And so we have an unbelievable ability to describe in detail. And sometimes we get offended if you don't want to hear the whole thing, which I know drives some of our gentlemen in our life crazy. Yes, I see some hands being raised, because we have that innate ability. Our communication center is 3 times larger, so we speak. I'm going to get the statistic for you guys, but it was like a crazy number of how many words a woman speaks a day versus gentlemen. I will get that statistic for you guys because it was crazy, and it's just because our communication center is so much bigger. Because in order for the tribe to have berries and water, we needed to remember every single detail about the river, where the water is, to come back and tell the tribe in detail, so that somebody else that we trusted could go the next day and do it while I feed my baby. Does that make sense? Raise your hand if that makes sense, please. I take a little drink. I'm gonna choke. Thank you, guys. The teething didn't work too well. Okay, now I'm revealing a lot, right, to connect with you guys. Okay, perfect. So, wonderful. So all the details for women that are in gathering mode are very relevant, because it's a sign of trust. So gentlemen, when you're holding the basket, for us to throw up on the basket and give you every detail about everything, just know it's because we trust you. If we didn't trust you, we wouldn't give you the basket. And that's another class. But gentlemen, one thing you want to do once a day is hold the basket while we tell you everything about our day. And it could be just, you can ask us the question of what was great today. That way we don't have to tell you every detail, just the good stuff. And hold the basket 1, 2, 3 minutes for us to tell you every detail. And ladies, use your human spirit. Don't make it a 30-minute report, because then they're not going to want to hold the basket for us. Make it shorter. We use our human spirit for all these things. And then women have that unbelievable need to dump everything that came into our head, because we are wired so differently. And so this is a great win-win. Dave's like, baby, do you need me to hold the basket for you? I'm like, yes, I do. I'm overwhelmed. And then he'll just hold it. And I don't want to get fixed. There's nothing you have to fix, gentlemen. The way you fix it is by listening. Okay? So we all know people that if they're not included, their feelings get hurt. They'll feel disrespected or upset. If I'm not included, I'm ostracized. Women will even like see something on Facebook like, why wasn't I invited to that? Like they start thinking about status, like maybe I wasn't high on their status list to be invited to that brunch. And so we're constantly assessing ourselves against status, about where we included, where we not included, because of this need to be included in the tribe, because it's all related to our safety. Okay, I'll give you guys an example. I interviewed a photographer in her 50s, and she said to me, I would have to say that I'm not really close to my in-laws. However, even though we are not close, whenever I hear of a group of them getting together and we don't get invited, it hurts my feelings. So to women in this mode, when they're in gathering mode, the order that we're included, the order by which we are brought in, is also a reflection of status, and is also a reflection of regard. And sometimes women will do things like, we all think that it's too cold in here, or we all think it's not like all of us, but we want to be included in the whole tribe, or we'll ask a few people, because being included is very, very important. So gentlemen, sometimes you create a plan and you perfect the plan in your mind, and you're getting ready to move forward with the plan, and then you don't include us in the plan. We're devastated. We're devastated because we don't feel we're important. So Dave has remembered, because a hunter is wired to conceal the plan. Wired to conceal the plan. And so guess what? You have to use your human spirit to say, hey, baby, okay, we just got out of a big training this weekend. This is the plan. And I wanted to include you as part of the plan. And now here's the thing. It's so like, it could be complicated, but it's not. Now, if they share the plan with us, ladies, wow the plan and do not give any feedback. Because if you give feedback on changing the plan, they're not going to want to share the plan again. So it's their natural instinct to protect the plan. If a hunter was going to go out and hunt a beast, he wasn't going to tell anybody. Okay, so he just protects it and he goes and hunts the beast. I mean, he might tell the women in the tribe, but he's not going to tell specifics about the plan. So this is where a lot of conflict can happen when somebody creates a plan and they don't tell somebody, and now the gatherers are very hurt because they didn't get included. But a lot of the drama happens because in the past, the gatherer went and shared parts of the plan with somebody else, and so now the hunter has lost trust because the gatherer, wanting to be included, has shared the plan. So you guys see how this information can be so powerful in just knowing that somebody's doing something for survival, and then the hunter is also doing something for survival. Beautiful. So we reveal that which will have us be included, and we don't include anything that's going to make us feel ostracized. Think about a time when you saw an event on Facebook and you didn't get invited. Also, I'll give you guys an example of there are things, well, actually, I'll share that example with you guys a little bit later about the hunter and gatherer conflict that Dave and I had a couple of weeks ago. It's just so powerful, so powerful. So potential conflicts. These are the potential conflicts that happen in relationships. Sharing without permission. Okay, so somebody in gathering mode may share something personal to connect and to feel safe when she didn't have the permission. A mother bragging about her kids, sharing personal information about your kids. Ladies, parents, I know you're proud of your children, but a way to avoid a lot of tension and conflict is to ask your children if it's okay to share certain things. And I'll give you an example. I was interviewing a mother of 4 who lives in France, and she shared with me, I shared videos of my boys dancing Bolivian music as they wear ponchos, but the problem is that I share these with their high school friends and they get embarrassed. Oh, and when my boy brought his first girlfriend to the house, I showed her his baby pictures when he was naked. Whoops. And so as you can see, that's like somebody just so proud and so wanting to connect, but then the son could be mortified that we're showing their naked photos, right? I had my friend shared a story with me that her child had gotten a 1600 perfect score in the SAT. So the mom was so proud and she was going and telling everybody about it. And the daughter was furious because she thought if the boys knew how smart she was, that they wouldn't want to date her. So it created a lot of chaos in the relationship that somebody in gathering mode wanted to share, to connect, to feel safe. But at the same time, the daughter was in hunting mode. She wanted to conceal her secret because she thought it would jeopardize her ability to date. And that's where some of the conflicts can come. So at some of the other conflicts, we can reveal part of a plan that a hunter wanted concealed. Somebody shared the other day that they had planned this amazing contest, and during the break, the gatherer had gone and shared it with a couple people in the team and leaked the contest. She did it to build connection because she was so proud, but the hunter that was concealing the plan until the big announcement was completely upset, and it caused to lose trust. So you guys can see how important it is to use human spirit so that these things don't happen. Another thing that can happen is reveal something that would cause a hunter to lose respect or trust. Another conflict is when a woman is not included, she can get upset. Okay, another one is that including details can seem irrelevant, but for a woman, details mean trust. Okay. Also, if a woman is in gathering mode and she reveals, the gatherer may not be trusted and she may feel less connected, lose safety, and that can create a fight. If a hunter loses trust or respect by the ones that trust him, if a gatherer shared something about him, this can cause huge conflict. I had my friend shared a story about her husband that when he was going through his divorce, his wife didn't work. So she was at home gathering, and she called her girlfriends and talked, and she revealed a lot of his private secrets and work and things like that. And so he lost complete trust. And that was one of the big causes of the divorce. She was gathering, connecting, and including to feel safe, but she was revealing plans and parts of the hunter that he didn't want revealed. Okay? And then finally, how to be in partnership. So these are some of the ways that we can be in sync and get the information we need. So if you're a hunter and you're getting lots of blah, 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 blah from somebody in gathering mode, you can shift your mindset and go, I'm going to hunt for the answer, and make it like a game. Okay, where's the answer? Where's the answer? And hunt for the answer. Listen long enough. Okay, you can hold the trash. While she tells you everything in detail, you can just hold it and remember. You don't have to remember any of this. That's the great news. And you don't have to do anything about it. It's just a need that we have because of our something called diffuse awareness. That was another topic. Topic 2, make sure you watch that. We have something where everything yells at us, the socks, the dishes, where if you're in hunting mode, nothing yells at you, only your goal. And so we have an overwhelming need to release all that information that came in at 1,000 miles a minute. And so holding the basket for us is really powerful. Also, if somebody's talking too long, and let's say you have 5 minutes to wrap up a meeting, you can interrupt them. But here, you don't go like this. You don't have a caveman attack to interrupt the woman that's gathering, because then she's going to get hurt and she's going to lose safety, and then that's going to cause 3 days of no sex, gentlemen. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to interrupt her with compassion. Say, I am so sorry, but we only have 5 minutes. Could you wrap up so that we can go? And if you can touch her in the shoulder, it shows compassion and trust. She will completely redirect. There's times when I get overexcited and I start blabbing away, and there's like, babe, I would love to listen to you, but right now is not the best time. Can we just take 5 minutes to wrap everything up so we can get out the door? And he does it with so much compassion that I never get upset. I use my spirit, my human spirit. I'll wrap up in 5 minutes and then save the rest for later. Okay? Other ways is give time limits and say something like, if you're at a meeting and there's some gatherers that are blah, 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 blahing away, you say, I would love to hear every detail, but I only have 3 minutes. Also, sincerely admire somebody to help them feel safe. So give them admiration, whatever it looks like for that person. Give them a compliment, status that she's trying to achieve. Help her stay out of a cave woman attack. And realize that people that are in gathering mode, they want to connect. So ask for what you need. Touch her if you need her to stop. And this helps her feel safe. I'll give you guys a personal example of somebody's need to connect and somebody being in a different mode. So we were at lunch, and it was Sunday, and usually I look forward to Sundays because we get out of this little city that we live in and we have a little adventure, and usually we talk and catch up. Well, we live in Brazil, and there happened to be the biggest soccer game on that Sunday at lunch. So the entire lunch, Dave was like this, hunting the ball, hunting the game, watching the goals, and there was no connection. And I used my human spirit. I was like, you know what? He loves this. He loves soccer. I'm going to just enjoy myself, watch him, watch the game, because we don't, our diffuse awareness, we don't have that capability to follow the ball like what men do. Like, really, this is not a made-up thing. You can follow it, but not with the same focus that men do, because men have something that's called laser vision, and women have a version of it, but we still can see a little bit around it. So it's a very, very interesting thing. And so I virtually received zero connection, and that was my moment to connect. I was in gathering mode, so I was feeling very disconnected, which means I was feeling unsafe. And so when we got home, he's like, okay, I got to prepare my speech. And so he was going right into hunting mode. And so I said, honey, before you get started on your project, can I ask you for something? I didn't get any connection at lunch. I just need about 5 minutes. Would you come to the bed and just cuddle with me? And then initially he was like, I don't have time. But then he thought about it. Okay, human spirit. He's like, okay, babe, how about 3? I'll give you 3 minutes. I go, okay, I'll take it. So he came and he was just present for me and he held me and he's like, so how was lunch? And, you know, we chatted. I felt connected at a level 20. I felt loved at a level 20. And I was like, okay, go do your thing. Bye, bye, bye. I just needed 3 minutes. And those 3 minutes, but asking for it in the past, I would have come home. I would have been passive aggressive. I wouldn't even have known that I was mad at him. Anybody relate? I was like, you didn't pay any attention to me. Emily, thank you for sharing. Just, you know, I'd be like upset and then I'd be like showing him so he can tell something's wrong. And then I would have like sabotaged his project. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Lara. You know, and so I would have completely picked a fight. But then what I was seeking, thank you, Courtney and Dawn, I was seeking connection. And I asked for it and he gave it to me. And by the way, gentlemen, if you have daughters, they're mostly in gathering mode. They will need that connection. And it might look like something else. It might need, like, you know, you play teapot with them for 5 minutes. But they need that. For us, it's like food for our soul. And so using your human spirit to be able to give us what we need. And it's not a time thing. Once a day, Dave knows, either with whether he's away or whether he's in person, he gives me he has a message on his calendar and it says, give Yvette power presence. And he comes and he holds me. He's like, I love you. I own you. And I will never leave you. And he looks at me, my eyes with this piercing look and holds me and melts me. And then he goes away. And he leaves me all melted. I'm like, okay, babe, go work. Thank you. And I feel so happy. And it wasn't that he needed to spend an hour with me, but I needed his full attention. Does that make sense? And so he knows how to do that either by text when he's traveling, or he'll call me on WhatsApp and be fully present for me. It's not a time thing, gentlemen. It's a presence and a focus. Just like you pay attention to that ball in that game with LeBron James, we need that kind of attention when you look into our eyes. Then we will do backflips for you. Because then we feel fulfilled. Thank you, Courtney. See, I have a lot of, Dawn, thank you. I have a bunch of ladies raising their hand. We need presence. We need presence. So if you can put a reminder in your calendar to give us, all of you, oh, it's just like, it awakens our soul. Thank you, Suzanne. It awakens us at a whole new level. It's not a time thing. It's a presence thing. And by the way, with your kids, you can do this power presence too. It's not that level of passion. It's a different level of attention where you turn your phone off, and whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes of just being fully present, especially in today with all that social media stuff that's going on. So yeah, that's basically the first part of this training. Now, in all my excitement, I got lost and I'm going to find myself. Wonderful. I just found myself. I just went right back into hunting mode. Talking about all this emotion, I went right into my gathering mode. So we are now going to shift to hunting mode. Most men, most of the time, are in hunting mode. There are always exceptions. And women shift into hunting mode when they have a goal, when they're at work, when they have a specific thing that they're focusing on. It could even be like, I'm going to wash the dishes, and you're so laser focused on getting those dishes done. So hunting mode could also be at home or helping your child with the homework. And for the sake of today's talk, we're going to talk about hunting mode in terms of protecting. Okay, so when a woman or a man are in hunting mode, we do two things. We conceal and we conserve. And when I say conserve, I'm talking about we conserve our energy. And when I say conceal, we're protecting. We're protecting the vulnerability. We're protecting the secret. We're protecting the plan. I'll give you guys some great examples. So remember, when we're in hunting mode, we're committed to a result, an intention, a destination, a value, or we're even hunting for a feeling. You could have a big party at your house and you're hunting for everybody to have a great time and to feel happy. So you can even hunt an emotion. Some ladies are hunting a husband. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so hunting is laser focus. And for the sake of today, we're talking about warriors and we're talking about protecting. So when we are in a hunting mode, the instinct is to produce results and to protect. Okay, so ladies, you're going to understand a lot about the men in your life when they're in hunting mode, but also when you are in hunting mode. This is really cool because it's almost like if we were bipolar, because it's so opposite to gathering mode, and we operate in both modes. And here's what I didn't share earlier. Women can go back and forth between hunting and gathering mode multiple times in 1 hour. It's crazy. So we can drive the men in our life insane because one time we're hunting, then we're gathering, then we're hunting, then we're gathering. So that is what they call, sometimes we are doing multiple things at once, is because we have that ability because of something called diffuse awareness. Watch topic 2 for that whole topic. So this term is going to be termed man mode, because when a woman is in warrior mode, who is not just providing, she's also protecting. And so the first instinct is concealing. When a woman is in warrior mode, her default is to conceal, to protect the plan, to protect the goal, to protect the idea, to protect the whole trip plan. Okay? So a warrior will naturally conceal the strengths. Okay? We will conceal to protect ourselves. We will conceal to protect our result. We will even conceal to protect other people. And I was interviewing a hairdresser in her 40s, and she said to me, I absolutely conceal the information I get from my clients. I feel so protective over them. As a matter of fact, I'm so protective that I created a policy at work that whatever we hear in terms of, because we live in a very small town, whatever we hear from our clients, we will never share, not to each other, not outside this environment. So when a woman is in hunting mode, it's so funny because she will conceal, where in gathering mode, she will reveal sometimes very personal things about herself. The same hairdresser that I was asking her that was concealing, she said that when she's with clients, she will reveal personal information to connect with them. So when she is in gathering mode, she will reveal personal things to build a connection, to build trust, and for both of them to feel safe with each other. So a woman will conceal because she doesn't trust a person. A woman will conceal anything that she thinks that can be used against her. Okay, so anything that can be used against her, she's going to conceal. She will conceal her strengths. She will conceal her weaknesses. And you never want your enemy to know this, right? She will conceal her attachments so that they're not used against her later. Thank you, I'm getting some hands. She will conceal her mistakes. She doesn't want people to know her mistakes because we don't want them to be used against us later. And again, a male hunter, same exact thing. He's actually even more concealing of the plan. So much that sometimes Dave tells me, I didn't even know I already had a plan. Like, it's so subconscious, because sometimes I'm like, I didn't get it included in the plan. Can you share the plan with me? And he goes, God, I didn't even realize I had already created a plan. I was already in implementation, because they protect it so much that it's even so subconsciously ingrained in them. Okay, so as women, we will also conceal location, plans, so that the enemy can't thwart our plan, conceal what's important to us, conceal anything that we think will take the conversation off track. So if I am at a party and we are, actually this just happened earlier. We were at this beautiful event. There was a prayer circle, and somebody asked me what I do about Alison Armstrong, and I just said, I'm in marketing. And I do a lot of marketing with my other business, but I didn't even want to get into the detail of the Allison Armstrong because I didn't want the prayer circle and that evening talk to be about, because I know the moment I talk about I help women understand men, it's like, how do you do that? I need to learn. And I just like, it turns into a 1-hour talk. And so I was concealing that information to protect the group. Okay, so women conceal anything that could take the conversation off track. And I'll give you guys a personal example. When a warrior comes up with a plan, we don't share it with anyone. Sometimes we don't even share it with the spouse, which can create conflict. And now we're learning to share with each other because a lot of this happens unconsciously. The planning, the creation of a plan, sometimes the implementation of a plan. And so my husband and I had come up with a really, really cool program, a whole year program, and we presented this to our business partners. And Dave was just reminding me of this. I was like, don't tell anybody about this. And he's like, why? Because he was really excited. He wanted to share with a couple guys. I was like, this is our plan until we get it approved and everything is like in process and all the logistics and everything is out. We don't want anybody to sabotage our plan or like anybody to change the plan or offer ideas. This is our plan. He's like, God, babe, you got so protective. And that is because I am a warrior and I presented this big plan, like some of our life's experiences are going to go into this. And I didn't want anybody to risk the plan that we had created. So it is so funny because it's just something we do. And I'm usually mostly a gatherer. So it's funny that I was like, do not share the plan with anybody. And so a woman will conceal her flaws. She will conceal her problems. Sometimes the other women, they'll ask you, what's wrong? Nothing. Because we don't want to expose something that might make us weaker when we are in hunting mode. We sometimes conceal so that we can get to the point. We can conceal because we're focused. We can conceal because we want to respect privacy or somebody to respect our privacy. And when we are in hunting warrior mode, we are not concerned with making a connection. That doesn't matter to us. We are more concerned with protecting ourselves because we don't want to be known or seen. Now, I'll give you guys an example. I'm in the travel and marketing business, and I help people travel at wholesale prices. So sometimes I'm at a party or a social event, and I purposely won't say what I do in terms of in terms of what I do, because I don't want the conversation to be at the moment I mention the word travel, people get so excited because they want to start vacationing. And sometimes it's not the right context because we're there for a different kind of meeting, or it's a different, environment where I just want to have fun and not talk work. And so I purposely, when somebody asks me, what do you do? I said, I'm in sales. I keep it at that. But if I was like in my mode of travel and letting people know, I'd be like, I help people make money while taking dream vacations. And people are like, how do you do that? I just gave you guys a tagline, $1 million tagline that I work with John Astra from The Secret. He helped me come up with that. A lot of money we put into that. So just for you, if you are here and you market travel with us, there are a few people from our company on this webinar. And so the hunter will protect almost everything that the hunter will, that's important to the plan. Okay, we conceal to protect confidentiality, privacy, vulnerability. We basically conceal everything that's important. And this is especially true in the work environment where we feel the need to protect our jobs because that's our income and our family depends on that. Okay, so now we're going to go about the second instinct. And thank you guys. I know some of you are typing questions. I will get to the questions at the end. And because I'm in hunting mode, and if I start listening to questions right now, I will get distracted and get into gathering mode. And so I am very specifically using every ounce of focus that I have. So the second part of being a hunter is our conserving instinct, okay? And we conserve to save or protect. We conserve our time. We conserve our energy. Maybe we're just too tired because we worked and we don't want to put any energy out. We don't want to leak energy, basically. Or it's going to take too much energy to give the details. we ask ourselves, is this really worth the energy? Okay. Dave asks me this all the time. Do we have to do that? Like, it's going to take a lot of energy. Is it really worth it? And so he's worth it. Calculation is always calculating whether something that I propose to us is going to be worth it for both of us, which is amazing. And so he's conserving and protecting his energy. We're conserving our resources. So how much energy is it going to take to answer the questions? Is this worth my time? Or also, I don't have time to give the details. And I'll give you an example. In my research, I interviewed a female, very successful seminar speaker in her 30s. And she does lots of amazing seminars around the world. And she said to me, before my live events, I fly in 4 days early for quiet time alone and for pampering and self-care to conserve and build my energy and to allow plenty of mental space for my getting ready to lead. And I usually don't see family who live near or friends before the event, even if I have time for it, unless I've done extraordinary cup filling and are totally prepared for my event and have led it before. So as you can see, a woman in warrior mode, she absolutely conserves her energy, especially if it's something where she's going to deliver. Like today, all day long, I conserved my energy preparing me for tonight. I did yoga, I meditated, I went to the park, I went on a hike to the waterfall. Everything today was about getting my warrior gear to deliver the best talk, to get my ego out of the way. I prayed, I asked God to illuminate me and to have words come out that are not ego driven, that this is not about me, that this is about serving. So all day long, I conserved my time, my energy, and I purposely didn't put any appointments in my day so that I can show up for you the best that I can. And that is what a warrior does when she has the conserving instinct. I also interviewed a female, and actually I'll tell you guys about her in a little bit. Women can conserve energy in the workplace to avoid fallout. So for example, if there were cuts in the department, she wants to conserve energy and not share because she doesn't want to deal with the emotional energy. Also, conserving has a lot to do with protection. We conserve our exposure. We conserve our vulnerability. We prevent that vulnerability from, being hit by other people. And this vulnerability would come from speaking and sharing or even speaking up. So it's interesting, women in this mode sometimes will not even speak up for themselves because they're conserving energy. Okay? We're going to talk about potential conflicts in this mode. We may think that a woman in warrior mode, she's purposely not including us, and the women that are gathering can get hurt. And so ladies, if you're hunting and you have a bunch of people you're leading and they're gatherers, they can get very hurt if you are concealing and not sharing parts of the plan, at least that applies to them. And if you're conserving your energy, they might understand that as you are mad at them. So a lot of them, they'll question themselves like, is she mad at me? Why is she acting so weird? So sometimes we have to purposely let them know, listen, I'm conserving my energy. I don't have a lot of time, but I will let you know some parts of the plan that are important. And please don't take it personally. I just need to conserve my energy. Women in gathering mode or men in gathering mode, they will be in fear that a woman in hunting mode is upset because she's conserving the energy, or think that she doesn't trust us. It can feel like she's so cold. Sometimes women in this mode will be labeled as bitchy or masculine, or, they will say nasty things, or she got balls, or, pardon the term, but sometimes women will get labeled like that. But remember, they're just trying to protect the plan. They're trying to conserve their energy so that they can deliver the best result. Okay? Sometimes a woman will conceal the flaws or problems, and it seems like perfection. So it seems like it's to look more perfect. And so this is so, so important to I'll give you guys a great example that happened. So we conceal our flaws, right? Because we want to kind of seem like we're perfect out there to everybody else. And so I was definitely in hunting mode, and we were driving to go see one of our top key leaders in our company. He had achieved the highest achievement in the company, and we were going to surprise him. And I was definitely in hunting mode. We're going to go awarding. We're going to speak on stage. And we were backstage with some of the top leaders. And, you know, a hunter will not reveal any flaws. And so I was there with Dave. And one of my little pleasures in life while I live in Brazil is I love pão de queijo. And that is the little cheese breads. These little cheese breads with tapioca, and oh, they just melt in your mouth. They're warm. And so my first 6 months I was here, I was eating those like every single day, and they're little. So I was having 3 with my breakfast. And, you know, I was just like, oh, pão de queijo, let's go find pão de queijo, because it reminded me when I was a little girl in Bolivia, and I used to have those. And so they served pão de queijo backstage when we were there, and Dave's like, babe, you know, and I hadn't had pão de queijo in like 6 months because I had completely cut it out of my diet. And so Dave decides to reveal to everybody backstage this part that was very confidential about my pão de queijo addiction. And so for some reason, he forgot that it was 3 a day that I was having during those 6 months. He said 5 a day. So he's like, oh, you guys want to know something? Yvette loves pound. And he was doing it because he was in gathering mode. He was revealing something because he was so proud of me, like the connection with the Brazilian culture. But he said that I was having 5 a day and in a year's worth. So he did 5 times 365. And so he told everybody back there that I had 1,800 pão de queijos last year. Oh my God. I was mortified. I was like, well, what? Why would you say something like that? But he was in gathering mode. He was revealing. He thought it was so cute. He thought I was proud of that. And obviously, if I was in a different mode, that would be fine. But as a hunter, we don't reveal anything that might look like a flaw. So it was just hilarious. And later on, I was like, babe, it was 3, not 5. And it wasn't for a whole year, but it was just hilarious. Like the conflict that created. I was like, okay, human spirit, don't react. He did it with love. He was in gathering when he was chatting up, and he was proud of me. And so later on, I had to share this with him. I said, baby, I got really hurt when you said that. Like, that's just like not for, like, I didn't want that shared to like business partners that we have just met. But for him, he was building connection and trust, and he thought it was like, what a great bridge to talk about pão de queijo, which is like the most popular dish here. So that's kind of one of the conflicts that popped up last week. So next time you guys see Dave, just go, so how's that pão de queijo thing going? And so that can build a lot of tension when somebody reveals something that could be perceived as a flaw from a hunter. Okay, sometimes it could feel like you're pulling teeth. It could be a lot of frustration to try to get something from a hunter. And also it can feel unsafe if we think that a hunter is leaving us out. And obviously there's a lot of tension because one woman's revealing and the other woman is not revealing. So there's no reciprocity. And that is when, like, are you mad at me? Like, is there something wrong? Sometimes this happens with my assistant. She's so amazing and she's in gathering mode. Sometimes I'll be like kind of quiet and reserved. And she's like, is everything okay? Like, did I do something wrong? Immediately a gatherer will think that they did something to cause that. Okay, so ways to be in partnership, and we're just about done, is honor that a hunter is short on time. So here's what I do. Do not ever, 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 ever interrupt a hunter. You will elicit a caveman or a cave woman attack. So the way I do is I'll stand by the door and then I'll kind of smile and see if he'll see me and wait. And he's like, I can't talk, but I can talk in 5 minutes. So he sees me already. We have a signal. Another way is I'll slip him a little note, or he will do this when I'm in hunting mode. He'll slip me a little note. Can you chat in 5? I have a quick question. Or I will send him a text. So when he takes a pause and he looks at his phone, can I ask you a question? I'm in the other room. But if you come in and you interrupt a hunter, it can take a hunter a bunch of minutes to just get refocused and get back on track. So remember, because they have that laser focus. So honor that the hunter is short on time. Set up a time to talk. So my number one question that has saved my life in this amazing relationship that has taken a relationship to another level is, when do you have a few minutes that we can chat? Before, I would come in the room and interrupt him at my leisure, and I didn't realize why. Sometimes he would bark at me pretty much because I was interrupting him all the time. When somebody's in hunting mode, they cannot, we got to honor that. And so I'll slip them a little note, or like, can I get 2 minutes of your time at some point? Or when do we have 5 minutes? Or, and be honest, ladies, because one time I said I need 5 minutes to do this Zoom thing, and it took 30 minutes, and he was so upset at me because I didn't honor his time. I didn't realize it was going to take me that long. So try to be as accurate when you're dealing with a hunter, woman or male. Try to be as accurate as you can with the time it's going to take to decide something or process something or talk about something. Okay? Don't reveal something that would cause a hunter to lose respect or trust. Also, protect confidentiality. The other day I was going to share something. There was a big lawsuit processing, and I was going to share this with somebody, and I was like, no, human spirit, human spirit. So then I asked him, I said, is it okay to share with this person about the lawsuit? He's like, not yet. As soon as the email goes out, we can share. And so I really honored. But in the past, I may have wanted to text that to build connection and trust, or even to gain status, as crazy as that sounds. And so you want to definitely honor the hunter. And they did a great talk. It's called The Faces of the Hunt. So it's understanding men. So Dave's done 4. I've done 3. This will be my 4th. All of them are in the Facebook group, so that you can take time, if you can, to watch the previous ones, because you will be blown away at how much conflict can be avoided if you just know this information. And then also some of the ways to be in sync with a hunter is to ask permission if you can share something, or say somebody to somebody in hunting mode. Let them know that it's safe to share with you. I won't share anything you tell me unless I have your permission to share it. Or somebody in gathering mode can say somebody in hunting mode, if you need something to be private, please let me know so that I can honor that. And if you hurt or betray a woman or man in hunting mode by revealing, it's important to apologize to them and say something like, I'm so sorry I revealed that. I promise not to do it in the future, and I'll ask for permission. So I can't tell you how much apologizing has healed so much in our relationship. Sometimes people just need to hear that to open up their heart. Okay? And so another thing you can say to somebody in hunting mode is, I respect the privacy of the plan. You don't have to tell me the whole plan. Could you just share with me this one piece that applies to me? And know that they're conserving energy, so they don't necessarily want to give you every detail, like when we are in gathering mode. Okay? Another thing you can say, hey, in order for me to do my part, what I need to know is this and that and that. When do you have 5 minutes that we can chat about it? Or you can check in with them and say, you may be so busy and have a lot on your mind. I'm just checking. Are we okay? Because sometimes as women in gathering, we just need that confirmation that we are okay. So we finished this topic. I'm so excited. I'm going to open it up to questions in just a second. So if you have any questions, you can go to the Q&A or in the chat feature. I wanted to invite you guys to our Facebook group. It's called Together We Rise Up, Understanding Men, Understanding Women. And join it. If you guys have any friends, it's a free Facebook group. We are doing it as part of our 1-year certification with Alison Armstrong. We are receiving the best of her teachings. We are delivering it right back to you guys for free. One day it's going to cost a lot of money. One day this is going to probably be a mastermind or a seminar, or, you know, we don't know. There's definitely going to be some Dream Trips retreat that we're working in partnership with Dream Trips, and it's going to cost a lot of money. So take advantage of it. While it's free, it's a gift as part of our certification and our contribution to the community. And if you know anybody that needs information or relationships, ask them before you add them to the group. Don't just add people, let them know, because people are getting very upset nowadays if you just add somebody to a Facebook group without asking for their permission. Also, if you want to receive future free webinar and retreat updates, YvetteUloa.com. Just sign in, give us your email. I only email important information and some of my blogs and some of the lessons and teachings. Dave is planning an amazing retreat in October. It's called the Warrior's Code. And he is teaching men so many different things, but some of the more important things is he is teaching men to own their full power in success, in life, in all areas of their life, but also learn the languaging to honor the women in their life at the highest level so that they can have a queen instead of a cave woman. And the other thing that Dave is doing is he is helping men own their life, because a lot of the times we have all these masks that we wear through life and through conditioning in society. He's going to help you shatter those masks so that you step into your true self. And with Alison Armstrong, we talk about the concept of frog farming and turning a great man into a frog. And now we're learning to do the opposite. We turn a great man and we help him become a king. And for men, it's the same thing. There's things you can say to women that you can turn a beautiful butterfly into a moth. So we're going to, go shift from moth makers to butterfly makers. And we haven't created the term yet, but it's something along those lines. And so Warrior's Code is going to be to help you understand and then to learn to step into your full power and also learn the languaging, because if you're not happy at the soul level in your relationships, you are not going to thrive at work, financially, career, and all the other areas of your life can fail. We're seeing that happen over and over, where people lose everything they built in a divorce because there was so much tension. They loved each other, but they had to give up on each other because of the tension that builds up from having caveman and cavewoman attacks. And then finally, if you want to buy any Alison Armstrong books or audios, the book Queen's Code is about learning the language of heroes. Keys to the Kingdom is a book that changed Dave's life, where they talk about the different stages of development of a man's life, from when they're little to teenagers, and how to best support a man in each stage, which is very different at different stages of life. And so the website is togetherweriseup.com. This is a link to our affiliate with Alison Armstrong, and we ask that if you buy something from her, that you buy it through this link, because then we invest all the money that we get to buy more books and programs and resources, to donate them to shelters, to donate them to prisons, to friends who need it, who may not be able to afford it. And so we give it right back to you guys. And so now I will open it up for questions. And I am so grateful to you guys. I got so many amazing comments. I'm going to go back really quick. Perfect. So, so the risk of feeling vulnerable and sharing to connect can backfire and end up making me feel unsafe. Absolutely, Dawn. Absolutely. So sometimes when we share and we become vulnerable, it can backfire on us. And so that is when we turn into hunting mode and we actually protect some of that information. So thank you for that. And Doug says, just allowing her to empty the basket. And yeah, and remember, guys, when you are allowing the woman to empty her basket, she's not asking to get fixed, and men are wired to fix. So you're like, well, I want to do something about this. What you're doing, holding the basket, is helping us solve the problem. And just know that. So at the end of when I empty my basket, Dave will always say, is there anything you want me to do about this? And I'd be like, no, thanks for listening, babe. And that's it. Or sometimes I may have some follow-up that I want him to do, but hardly ever. So just hold the basket, and by holding it, you're helping us fix it. Thank you. I love you too, Isis. So Melissa says, sometimes Michael's fave makes me laugh when I'm emptying my basket, because I know he's having a hard time keeping up with all my changing details. Oh, his face. So his face makes him laugh because he's like, I hear you, girl. But isn't that amazing? Like, he's using the best of his human spirit to, like, I don't understand anything that's being said, but I'm going to be present. I'm going to love you no matter what. And that's what we need. And we we're wired to, like, read faces, right? So we're like, is he listening? Like if you're not present, gentlemen, then we can also tell. So try to be as present as you can, but know that you do not need to remember any of this. Thank you, Melissa. JD. So now that I know it's gathering mode thing, I'm supposed to have more patience. Laughing out loud. How can I have the patience to listen to my girl talk a lot? So I guess she trusts me a lot based on this, but it drives me crazy. I just want her to get to the point. Thank you, JD. And so this is a typical conflict between hunters and gatherers. Gatherers want to give detail, and hunters are like, get to the point, get to the point. And so there's two things you can do. As Esther gathers and she tells you every detail, she can use her human spirit to diminish her we call it a meadow report, like the report of the meadow, every detail of like where the trees are and the nuts. And so Esther can use her human spirit to give you a shorter meadow report. Another thing you can do, GD, is when you ask her, we notice like when Dave goes, what did you do today? Is a horrible question for me, because then I feel forced that I need to tell him everything I did today. And then I feel like he is like, is he checking on me? Like, why does he want to know? But he just asked the question. So we figured out a better question is, what was great about your day? And with that, the basket gets a lot smaller because I say a lot less. So, and then for you, JD, what you can do is when she's telling you this is you are hunting to be present for her. You are hunting to give her love and presence by holding the basket. So you can both use your human spirit to be able to honor each other's modes, and just know that neither one is built wrong and there's nothing wrong with each other. It's just that we are operating in different modes. And that's what Dave realized, because when I was in hunting mode all the time, and then I'd come home from hunting and I was like, I was just like so masculine. And he's like, I don't want to go to sleep with a Dr. Peach, because I was like competitive and how many. So Dave learned to appreciate my gathering mode. Am I talking too much? He's like, because that's my princess. He's like, I don't want to go to sleep with another prince, So he's like, I love it when you're in this mode because that's my girl. And so now he's not trying to make me more into a man, and I'm not trying to make him more into a woman. Now we know nobody's misbehaving, that we are all just operating in different modes. Amparo wants to know, how can you teach your husband to not fix when holding your basket? That's a great question, Amparo. And so basically you have to ask him for what you need. And men are wired to be providers. They are wired to provide. So the way you would ask him, and Allison has a whole audio that you could buy from her website, and it's called something about like the power of asking the right questions, or how to ask the right questions, because I had to learn this with Dave. Before I would tell him and it made no sense to him. But now that I say, hey baby, can I ask you a question, or can I share a need with you? So I would love for you to listen to what I have to say. And I know that you love fixing things and you're wired for that, but can you do me a huge favor? Can you try not to fix me at the end? Because the way you're going to fix this is just by listening. And by doing that, it's going to provide. So the key words here, Amparo, are it's going to provide. And then you let him know what it's going to provide for you. So it's going to make me feel safe. It's going to make me feel connected. It's going to make me feel loved at a level 20. And it's going to energize me and fill my tank so that I can go do the great things at home with the kids or with the family or whatever. Another thing, Amparo, you can do is you can have him listen to today. And hello, husband. Thank you for being so committed to growing in a marriage and listening to today. So you can have him listen to this webinar as well. And little by little, we all learn. Like there's some people that have been hearing about the basket for a few months now, and so they're very good at it. Some are kind of wobbly at holding the basket, and it just takes a little bit of time. But being in this process, Amparo, I promise you guys will make those shifts. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That's so good. Somebody said, I am sending my husband back to slide 10. Haha, he will need to watch on repeat to truly get it. I get that. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, She says, hello, cariño, just jumped on. Great info. Dawn said, I need to remember that with my children, that my girls need that connection differently than my boys do. Absolutely. Backflips with red heels. Thank you. Meishi says, I'm realizing my hubby is always in hunting mode, and I definitely move between both. Depends on what I'm doing. I'm so thankful for you doing this. This is exactly what I have been desiring to learn. Thank you. Isn't it cool when you learn this and you're like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me and there's nothing wrong with him. We're just wired differently. And then on top of that, we are operating at different modes. And so learning to respect and honor when we're operating at different modes can make a huge difference. So thank you. Dawn says, sometimes I don't want to go into hunting mode. I will avoid it. Is that typical for women sometimes? Yes, Dawn. Hunting mode, in my eyes, is more of a trained thing. We have trained ourselves. It's not our nature. For some women, it might be their nature, or maybe they've just been passed on generation to generation. But hunting mode takes so much energy, and it takes a lot for us to get into that full focus, because our brain is not wired like that. Our brain is wired for diffuse awareness, to be able to see the cherries and the water and the dirty socks and the laundry. And so we have to work harder at being in hunter. So absolutely, it is a little bit harder for us to do that. And the way you master going into hunting mode is by giving yourself tank fillers. Write down all the things that help you fill your tank, and then go do those things in between. So before I'm about to hunt a big result, I will take a 30-minute and just meditate or pray or read a book, something that charges my tank. And then before a big weekend, I'll charge as much as I can, because hunting mode can really put your body off center, and it can affect someone. Thank you, Amparo, for the beautiful words. Thank you, Doug. I love you guys. Bless you too. Thank you, Monique. Kathy Frost says Queen's Code is temporarily out of stock. So, Kathy, you can go to lulu.com. It's a self-publishing company, and you can order it from there. Or you can order Kindle from Amazon or from Allison's website. So thank you for that. Carol, thank you so much for your beautiful words. Emily says, my brother totally said that in his wedding toast this weekend, that sometimes men shouldn't try to fix everything, just listen and be supportive, and that is something sometimes more helpful than actually fixing the problem. Yay! Oh, there's a lucky woman there that gets it. You should definitely share what we talked about today, because it's so powerful. Thank you, JD. Thank you very much. Amparo, how can men avoid carrying the weight of what you empty out? In the past, when I vented, he just carried it, even though I felt better. Thank you. That's a good question. And I probably want to ask Dave that, but I think if you tell him, you don't need to. I think he might be carrying the weight because he's taking the problem as if it's his. But if you say, I just want to share this with you because I'm overwhelmed, but you don't have to do anything about it, and you don't have to fix it. All you need to do is listen. And so if you set him up to succeed, and not that he's going to have to try to fix it, I think that is when men take that on. So just let him know he's not going to need to remember it or fix it. And that's a huge relief for men. So thank you. Thank you, Ray, Raylene, and Matthew. Thank you so much. Isis, Emily, thank you. Thank you so much for the beautiful love. God, you guys are just giving me so much love. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dawn. I'm reading for questions. Yes, Priscilla, this will definitely help you with your king. Okay, this is from somebody. How do you tell your man you're hurt because he doesn't share his plans with you or include you in his plans in some way? What I would do is I would have them listen to the Faces of the Hunt video. Huge, because Dave talks a lot about that, and then have him listen to this. It's harder if you try to explain it to them, but maybe you can just share some of the things that you have learned and just say, can I ask you a question? Would you be open in the future to sharing some of the plan with me? I promise to be trustworthy, because remember, most men are doing this subconsciously and don't even realize they're doing it. And so the first thing will be to get him to see it, that there is a plan being created and that it's not being shared. And I found the best way is to have him watch this, because it's kind of hard to explain. There's so much to this. So there's a video topic too. It's called The Phases of the Hunt, and have him listen to that. And then the way you say is, could you share parts of the plan with me that apply to me? And by you sharing, it's going to provide. You must use the word provide in your everyday language, ladies, because men are wired to be providers. And that's one of the hero words language from Queen's Code. I can't give you the other ones until you make that commitment that they request in the book, but I can give you that one, provide. So you let him know what it's going to provide for you, but then you also have to promise him that you're going to honor the trust and not share the plan. Okay, thank you for the beautiful words. Thank you, guys. And now I will go to the Q&A section. Okay, you got it. Thank you, Lorraine. You're going to listen to the recording. Yes, the recording will be posted. This is topic 4. Perfect. And then Suzanne Boyle asked, thank you, Yvette. You are amazing. Thank you. I thought it was a question. Thank you for the beautiful words. I had another lady also ask. She also wanted to know, how do I share with my partner that I want to be involved in the plan? So obviously this is a very important question. And again, you want to explain some of the things you learned today, but also let him know what it's going to provide for you when he shares the plan. And here, okay, so this lady's husband said, how can he not take it personally when I choose to share something with him and not want him to do anything about it? He still wants to fix it. Thank you for that. And basically what we share with them is that this is where they need to use their human spirit, because we have to let him know, by you listening, the behavior that we are seeking here is you listening with an open heart. That is how you are fixing it, okay? And by you doing that, you're going to help me release daily overwhelm. And you don't need to fix it, because women, we don't want to get fixed. The moment we get fixed, we start feeling criticized, like there's something wrong with us. And so it is something where a man just has to be aware that they're going to hold the basket, and the basket is going to get dumped on, and there's going to be nothing there that they need to remember. So Carol, to set him up to succeed, some of the things that you can share with him is that what it's going to provide for you, and letting him know that your special request is for him not to fix it and not to take it personal, because his job is going to be to hunt holding the basket. So that's what he's hunting for, not hunting for the problem to fix, because that is where the conflict happens between hunter and gatherer as well. The hunter wants to fix, the gatherer just wants to communicate. So that's where human spirit shows up, where your only job is to hold the basket and smile while we dump on it. And then that releases all the overwhelm from everything that came in throughout our day through diffuse awareness. So thank you, guys. Let me see. Any other questions? Thank you, guys, so much for your beautiful, beautiful words. I'm sorry we went a little bit over. My hunter husband is not going to be so happy about that. Okay, so I will let Dave know. Dave has been, thank you, Matthew. Dave has been a little bit crazy with Kansas and North Carolina, but I will make sure that he posts the Warrior Code Facebook group. And also, you can also message him, Matthew, and have him add you. So that's another way. For some reason, that link wasn't working that he gave people. So, but yeah, so the Warrior Code is going to be out very soon. So I want to thank you guys for all your love, for your attention, for all the great questions. Sorry, there was so much coming in, so I did my best to answer all of them as much as I could. I want to thank you, and we will have In about 2 weeks, we'll be doing research for a new topic. So we may ask some of you to participate in research questions, either by messenger or over the phone. And then after that, we're going to prepare new topics. So you will get the next webinar in 3 to 4 weeks, topic 5 out of 8 for women and topic 5 out of 8 for men. And remember, try to watch the other 4 webinars that you have missed for women and for men, because they are life-changing. So my dear friends, I love you. I will see you in a private beach somewhere. And please try not to pick a fight tonight, because there's none of that going on. Sometimes couples are like, you've been doing this wrong. No, if your fingers are pointing, they're pointing at what can I do better? Make that commitment. Couples, listen to it. This brings up stuff. You are not to pick a fight tonight. Use your human spirit. Pause on the information. If you want to have a conversation tomorrow, do it. Use your human spirit and do not say what the other person's doing wrong. You can only self-assess and see how you can become a better person. Okay? Because this is so important. This stuff is going to come up. I mean, for me, years and years of doing things wrong and frog farming. So it took a while to recondition this in. It took a while, and it was hard work, and you know, I would still mess up and he would still mess up, and then we'd apologize, and sometimes we would have you know, caveman and cavewoman attacks and bark at each other and then cause conflict. So we are learning as well as much as you are. So Julie, thank you. She wanted to know, I don't see the other webinars. They are spread out. They are spread out throughout the different Facebook group. What I'm going to do today, right at the end of this, is I'm going to gather a sheet with the list of all the webinars, and I'm going to post it. So in the next hour, I'm going to post all the webinars that we have had. The only one missing is number 1, but by Dave. We mistakenly deleted that from Zoom because it went to a different place. And so Dave recorded it again this weekend in Kansas Live. So that will be up. So I will have 7 webinars for you guys to watch. I'll post it, and I will probably tag the post to the top so that it's always there. Okay? And that was my hunter fixing it. And thank you for acknowledging the hunter and for fixing it. Thank you, guys. I love you. I don't want to get off. My gatherer doesn't want to get off because I'm loving the connection, but I will get off. Love you.